Righty then. Successful indie author. Presentation, write quicker and better. 30 minutes on helping you to help yourself write quicker and better. Yes, I started a little late, but that's because, hey, it takes me a while to recover after going outside. It's -3 Fahrenheit this morning and taking Stanley out for his walk. He's back there. Look and see his butt face. Going back, going out there, it takes me a little while to recover. So anyway, I'm here now, and let's talk about what it takes to write quicker and better. Not just one or the other. No, you don't have, you can have it all. Written Word Media did a survey a while ago and did a study, and they came up with the answer in how to make the most money as an author. Any author, whether independent, whether traditional, whether hybrid. How do you make the most money? You write the best book you can as quickly as you can. It seems pretty simple, but there's people who can write a quick book, but then they dither around with it forever. There's people who take forever to write a book, and you wonder, what's the book like? What is the continuity and flow of a book that takes you years to write? You can't write on one book for years. Dabble at it, but are you writing? And me, I'm a full-time author. I write every day, so I get words every day. And that is how you can put together a book pretty fast. It takes me half hour, 45 minutes to get 1,000 words when I'm in the zone, when I'm focused. 1,000 words every day is 365,000 words in a year. 365,000 words, because of course you write every day. You don't have to, oh, I'm just editing today, I'm not going to write. I always write. Editing is a completely separate brain function. So write 1,000 words, 30, 45 minutes a day. So if I work 45 minutes a day, I can get 365,000 words. That's like 4 books. And if I write more than that, 1,800 words a day, how many books am I going to write? Yeah, about 10 a year, which is about what I get, 10 a year. And then if I have co-authors working with me, I get even more. So maximum profitability. And we're not in this solely for the money. We're in this because we love telling stories, and why not do something you love and make money at it? So you write the best book you can as quickly as you can, and then you get it out there and move on to the next book and keep feeding the people who are paying your salary, and that's the readers. So what are the objectives of this session? There's 3 elements where you can gain an advantage in writing quicker and better. That's writing speed. That's the physical typing or dictating speed. Writing clarity. That's, are you writing clear words that you can tell what's going on? Maybe they're not the best flow or best words when you look back and see it. And I see that all the time. I go back and I was like, oh man, that's kind of clunky wording. Okay, that's your writing clarity. Writing quality is the story. Is that story a good story? Are you spending too long on the setup and not enough time in the execution, and then too long in the drawdown and transition between the scenes? What are you doing? How are you guaranteeing that you get that flow? That's writing quality. So physical speed, clarity, and quality. That's it. Those are the 3 elements of writing. So where will you realize the greatest improvement? Is that through learning to type faster? Is it typing better, making sure that you don't have to backspace as much because, hey, I got that word right. The verbs and the nouns agree. It's all third person past as opposed to slipping into first person present and then going to third person past and slipping back into the present. Is it the story? What is about the story that flows through the word, the better typed words, and then words that you're typing, you're not having to backspace and fix every other word because your typing is so horrendous. Your fingers are so clunky. Your dictation is all over the place. Good, oh, good puppy. Oh, yes. And here you keep going. So writing speed. How do you memorialize your story? Because to publish it, you kind of have to put it into the computer. You can put it into computer a few different ways. You can handwrite, scan, let AI kind of figure out what you wrote there and put it into a manuscript. Then you read through it and say, yes, this is what I wrote. Yes, that's an A, not an O, something like that. That's that you can, so you can handwrite it. You can type it. You could type it with on your phone with a finger, two fingers. You could type it on your computer with all your fingers. You could type it on your iPad with kind of digital fingers, or you can narrate it is another way. You can magic it directly from your brain into your computer. And I think that day is coming where we will be able to do that, but I'm not sure I'll be able to do that because I can't dictate either. It's just, I think all over the place. I talk all over the place. I don't necessarily have a good flow. That tactile response with typing it, that gives me everything I need in putting a book into the computer. So what are your physical limitations? Handwriting, it's about 20 words per minute. Typing, about 50 words. Yes, people can type up to 100 words a minute, but you got to know what words you're typing, and you have to be well ahead of your fingers. Narrating, about 200 words a minute. Okay. Those are good numbers. 200 words a minute times 60 minutes. That's 11 billion. And thinking. Do you think at 1,000 words per minute? This is why when you're thinking and you're really in the flow, you might skip words while you're typing because you're well ahead of yourself and you're just playing catch up with your fingers, doing the best you can. So write the best book you can as fast as you can. Tortoise and the hare. You'll have homonyms, and that just happens. It's not, you're not an idiot. You're not a moron. You're not unable to spell. It's just homonyms because they get into our head, and you just type it and you keep going because that's what your fingers are conditioned to type. There's a lot of typing that is more physical than mental because it's rote memory. Hey, there you go. So I type TEH all the time because the H, my left hand, types faster than my right hand, as crazy as it sounds, even though I am right-handed. So I type TEH all the time. I have finally been able to train my computer that if it's space TEH space, it autocorrects it to THE. All right, good for me. Made progress, but generally I just leave it and keep going. Sometimes when I reread it, I'll go back through and I'll fix it. But editing as you go, that will slow down your daily word count. However, how much work do you want to put on your editor? I don't want to put very much work on at all on my editor because I want her to get that full visual of the story and not be quagmired every single sentence making corrections. Also, I hate looking at a story, getting it back, and there's red on every single sentence. That's not the best way to type. So sustainable speed. Even if you can type 50 words a minute, which I can type 50 words a minute, maybe I get my best stories at about 30 words a minute, thinking very deliberately of that next sentence and fingers trying to play catch up, but playing catch up where I'm not having to have backspace. That physical typing speed of 30 words per minute delivers everything I need to publish 10 to 12 books a year. Yes, only 30 words a minute. Yeah, but I can type 100. Great. Think about what it takes to type 30. Is your brain fully engaged with quality and with the story, with the strategy of that story, the flow and the ebb, and making sure that it puts the reader in the right state of mind at all times. So think before you write. And that's why I'm a big fan of 30 words per minute. How many 30 words per minute times 60? That's 1,800 words in an hour. 1,800. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's an awful lot. 1,800. That's a whole day's worth of storytelling, if you ask me. And if you get 1,800 words a minute, you know what that's going to put you at? That's going to put you at about 700,000 words in a year. 700,000. That's a lot. And if they're 30 good words, you don't have to go back. So your editor does a better job. You do a better job not having to completely rewrite everything because the what you typed was incomprehensible. 30 words. I think this is a great goal and a great and steady pace for anybody who's an author who is typing their words. Think before you write, and write what you've already thought about. Just let your fingers play catch up, and at a steady pace. You're walking, you're not sprinting, because and sometimes sprinting works great because, hey, I'm in the flow and that scene is really coming out and I'm jamming. I do that too, where I get my 50 words per minute. In 30 minutes, I'll have over 1,000 words. Yeah, killing it, killing it. Now, writing clarity. Are your sentences understandable? This is the very basic element of storytelling is a structured sentence. Now, we don't think about that because, hey, we had English was years ago, and I didn't even pay attention when I was in school on English and all that stuff. I read a lot of books. I understand English. I can type it. I can spell it. I can do all that stuff. Yes, but are your sentences understandable? Do you switch from first to third person omni to third person present? Do you do third person past? What do you do? Do you head hop? Are you in somebody else's head at every paragraph and confusing the reader on who's thinking, who's talking, who's presenting? That's writing clarity. You've got to think of that stuff, and you train yourself to write in that methodology for this book, this story. I write third person past because that's my natural flow state. So third person past. I have a few series that I write first person, and those are hard. Those take me quite a while to get into and make sure. And I have to go back and I catch myself jumping back into third person past as opposed to first person past. Got to make sure that all works. Otherwise, you confuse the reader. But it's my voice. No, it's your stupid voice. It's not your good voice. Your good voice is consistent with tense, consistent with noun and verb agreement. Nerb agreement. Yeah, noun and verb agreement. Consistency. That clarity. That also takes some thought, but that's thought that you then train yourself, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. So my writing clarity, it all goes to the quality. Now, the quality of the story and the typing speed, because if I'm typing too fast, then the clarity goes out the window and I say words like nerb instead of noun and verb. And the story itself, it now becomes incomprehensible because I don't know what I'm typing. Quality and a typing speed that's sustainable where I don't have to backspace because I have autocorrect turned on because of all of the very, very consistent errors I make, like TEH. So I have autocorrect turned on. And sometimes if I hit too many wrong keys, it autocorrects to something I have no idea where the hell it came from. Like, that's not what I meant. Because if you mistype something, you can look through and say, well, I meant this. But if you mistype something and it autocorrects to something completely different, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So quality, you've got to get that right. You've got to get that noun verb agreement and the tense, and you've got to get the words close enough where your autocorrect can fix it, or autocorrect is so confused it just leaves it. And then you can look and say, here's what I meant. I had two keys together or something. Easy enough to fix. Simple language mechanics. Being a storyteller, I think being a storyteller as a human is natural. So as a natural storyteller, are you flowing with your words? And that goes to clarity of homonyms catching you. Don't worry about the homonyms, hair and hair. It's, there, and there. I know all those. I know those very well. However, I will still get it's not wrong, but that's autocorrect gets me because I got close or something, or autocorrect is just wrong. And that happens too. So you do the best you can with clarity. However, you don't get quagmired with it. Just get it good enough where your editor is not wading through mountains of single letters trying to figure out what in the hell are these words. Clarity. It's easier if you think through where you are in the story and then you go. Thinking is the best thing you can do to help your writing speed, whether it's typing speed, whether it's clarity, whether it's quality. Writing quality. Ooh, in order to get the best words, I've got to be inspired. Well, how often are you inspired? Are you going to write for those 3 minutes a day where you feel the inspiration? No, because as a full-time author, you've got to get the words. If your target's 1,800 words, if your target's 5,000 words, whatever your target is, you've got to get them because that's what professionals do. It's your business. If you don't get them, for a day, that's okay. If you don't get them for a week, if you don't get them for a month, how's that going to affect your business? A month, you get 5,000 words a day, and 30 days of 5,000, that's 150,000 words. That's a book. If it's a long book, that's 2 books. If they're shorter books, what's that going to do to your business? Not publishing those books, especially if you already told your readers that you're going to publish those books. Yes, you lose credibility, you lose readership, you lose revenue. It comes down to revenue. What are you doing that you're not writing? Well, the grieving. My mother passed away. Yes, I had that too, and I understand. And I use writing to escape. And I didn't write anywhere near as many words after my dad passed away as I normally do. But the words I wrote were good words. And then I planned for a book in his honor. And I wrote a 2-book series that was almost 300,000 words, post-apoc, in my dad's honor. And they were good words. But I took a revenue hit during all this time. And I understood that. Now, I'm not forcing myself tears trying to write because I always plan way ahead. I plan for a month or 2 of downtime. Are you doing that every year? But I've been in this for 10 years, and a month or 2 of downtime, a month about of downtime out of 10 years, that's not too bad. I had the stockpile, very little hiccup, but I wrote a number of books that were not in the same genre, unlike now. Every book I'm putting out is right exactly in the same genre. And guess what? My revenue has gone way up because I'm delivering what the readers want. Writing quality. You don't have to wait till you're inspired. That's the point of this whole diatribe is you only have to be inspired for plot devices, plot elements, the overall story premise is inspiration. Hey, I'm going to write that. Oh yeah, this is the way that could happen. Even if it's a fairy tale retelling. Look at how many of those there are and how well they do. Somebody already told that story. Yes, but I had a different idea about this and this and that. Okay, inspired. But then you still have to put those characters on the page and work through them. Cinderella. What's that mean? How can I? It's still a lot of pedestrian work. You jamming words, setting that scene, setting the stage, making the action happen, making the ebb and flow of the action. That's not inspired work. Those key details are inspired, but those are a sentence or 2 with the lead up and the fall down. And those aren't inspired. Those are just pedestrian, you jamming and making it make sense for the reader. Do you have to know the whole scene before you memorialize it? No, you just need to know some key elements. Who's there? Where are they? What are they doing? Do you have to know all the elements, like, whether that chair is pushed into the table or pulled back? I need them to trip at some point. Okay, so it's pulled back. All right, good enough. But you don't find that until you get to this point in the scene. Maybe it never comes into, never happens. Okay, then it doesn't matter if it's pushed in or pulled back. Does your story flow? Quality, overall quality. Does it grip the reader right at the outset? I talked yesterday about the first paragraph, the first chapter in a new book that I was going to move the second chapter up, but I didn't have to do that. I rewrote it for a 4th time, and now it flows better, it engages better, it has the action, and then the denouement of that elements transition to the next scene, which was very quick because I have multiple tendrils going on at the same time. But now I'm into the next one. Okay, various elements. Not sure exactly how those were going to happen until I wrote them. Okay, hey, it will work better this way. And now we're about halfway through that second chapter. Because, hey, working on it, getting the words, all of a sudden the inspiration comes as you're getting the words. It's not the other way around. You don't have to be inspired first. You're inspired for the overall plot, for the story elements. But jamming, nothing inspires you more than getting into that scene and making it happen. What elements can you rework later in order to capture your thoughts now? Elements, I'm talking names of characters, types of characters, certain descriptions, like at a table, and you want to make sure that it's elegant. You want to describe the elegance of this dinner table. But right now you need to focus on that dialogue between the characters. So you put in brackets, elegant dinner table described. Then you keep moving and you keep that dialogue flowing while working in those elements of that elegant dinner table, which you really don't want to write right now. Okay. You do brackets, And then it's easy to search for the bracket. There you go. Hey, there it is. Now here's what I need to fix. Or bracket, AAA for this character, BBB for this character. Search and replace, search. There it is. Okay, let me call this character Bob. Whatever you call the characters. The character names are the biggest interruption to flow. Also, some historical research. Research is a spittoon like this or a spittoon like that. All right. And then keep flowing. And make sure you go back and find that stuff and you correct it with what you need. So do the research. There it is. Okay, it's 1878. Yes, there are spittoons. They're brass. They're like this. Great. Here you go. Put it in. As opposed to researching while you're writing, because nothing will interrupt your flow of your story, the quality, because flow is quality. Nothing interrupts that flow more than diving onto the internet while you're writing. Now it's not a 10-second distraction. It's a 10-minute distraction. And if you've got 15 minutes where you're focusing on writing, you've only got like 3 minutes left. And you go back and you're like, I don't have enough time, and might as well go outside, might as well go get another cup of coffee. So not letting those interruptions disrupt your flow, you're going to find you're going to type a lot faster and better, because you'll go back, you'll read, and now, hey, let me insert this elegant table, and I can put it in multiple places in between the dialogue, like he stepped and the candelabra was in the way, and then he moved sideways. Okay, the glint of the light off the gold highlights of the candelabra. Okay. How important is all that for the three-dimensionality of this scene? If it is, well, then work it in. But don't try to work it in and interrupt your flow of the dialogue where these two characters are interacting and you are 100% into it. You're 100% into it until you put a roadblock in front of yourself, and then you just stop and you lose that thread. Don't lose the thread. Writing quality. Make sure that the good stuff, you get it down when you think of it. That's the inspiration, and you only get the inspiration as you're writing. Big fan of getting the words leads to inspiration and not the other way around. And that's why I always have story ideas, because as I'm writing something, hey, it's going to work for this story, but hey, I could put in another story. So I capture those and I put them in my a terminal to-do document that I have on the other screen. I love two screens. I think of writing quality as a string of pearls. Your story is a string of pearls. You have the pearl, you have the little knot in between, then you have the next pearl and little knot. The little knot is your scene transition. The pearl itself is the scene. So you have, as it goes up to the scene, you have the climax of the scene, then you have where it draws down, you have the flow, and then the ebb, and then you have the knot, which ties it to the next pearl. Flow, ebb. And that is how I look at a story. You start at the clasp and you bring it back, you end at the clasp. So this is the start of the story. This is the end of the story, even if it's part of a series, because I do like to finish stories. I'm not a big fan of cliffhangers. I hate reading them myself. I will tell you that empirically, cliffhangers lead to better sales of the next book, because if people read this far and got there on the book, they're satisfied, kind of, but then there's a cliffhanger. Now they have to get the next book. So your overall review ratings will go down on that first book. However, the sales might go up. What are you willing to tolerate? What kind of risk can you tolerate in your business? I don't like getting bad reviews, even though, yes, I know everybody gets bad reviews because they're not always about the book itself. But I don't want to set myself up by that, by doing cliffhangers. I just want to get them into the next book because I have the next book on pre-order. That's a big thing. So it's like, okay, I love this book. What's going on? An open loop, not a full cliffhanger. So I leave an open loop there. So they clasp, but boy, there's a space for another string of pearls on that same one. So you can do, you've seen the ones where there's like 3 strings on one necklace. Yes, that's what I'm looking at with a series, is multiple string. Each string is self-contained. However, there's multiple ones, and together they make for a really great visual, a great overall story. Scenes are inspired. That's the premise. And transitions are the yeoman's work. The knots in between those pearls. Sometimes a lot of the pearl itself is yeoman's work, is pedestrian, just typing, setting things up, making sure it works, making sure the words Agree, the noun and verb agreement is good. It's all third person past. Okay, doing what needs to be done in the story so the reader sees what you read. You don't have to have every word being inspired. I have argued with people said, nope, I only write when I'm inspired. Okay, great. Good luck with that career. It's your career. Do whatever you want. Write as the best book you can as fast as you can. If it takes forever to write a book, hey, that's your choice. But I'm telling you that you can have a different choice. There are different choices out there for writing. And one of those choices isn't just write a bad book fast. No, it's write the absolute best book you can, but do it as quickly. Flow state, this is when you are completely into your scene and you are jamming away. Everything is working. And this is where writing fast is beneficial. I found that my best stories are written very, very quickly. I wrote 108,000 word story in 17 days. That one flowed remarkably well because I was into the scenes, into the story from the word go, and just wrote and didn't have to research, didn't have to do anything, and except capture every scene as it happened, as it flowed from the planet to space and then back down to the planet. Those things that made the story great. So sometimes writing fast is to your benefit. If you're just writing stream of consciousness, that's where writing fast isn't good. Stream of consciousness, I would only use that if I am completely blocked. And then remember what I said, writing words leads to inspiration and you break through that block. Now those stream of consciousness words might not be usable, but you accept that when you jam them just to get through this barrier that's holding you back. Overthinking is detrimental. Wait, I don't know what that spittoon is. It this way? Is it that way? Does it have flanges? Dude, get a grip. Put it in brackets and keep moving. Write that story and then go back and say, this doesn't even matter. He spit into the spittoon. Okay? You don't even need to mention flanges or inscriptions or some of that. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you get stuck on something that is irrelevant to the story. Is it irrelevant to the story? Then don't waste any time on it. Put yourself into the scene and document it. Don't get so lost in the details and the minutia that you're pole vaulting over mouse turds. And nobody cares about that. You just flow right through. They care about the characters. They care about the plot. And then they care about the characters. Yes, I said characters twice because they relate to the characters. So the character's relatable. Are you writing all this minutia and the characters wouldn't? People aren't going to read your book, even though your minutia is absolutely 100% correct. Characters, you have to spend the time developing the characters, but in a way that the readers can internalize. You don't do an info dump of here's the first 20 pages are all of this character's strengths and weaknesses and their Clifton strengths. And no, you're going to lose people. So put yourself into the scene, what is happening, and document it. Then take a look, capture the feel. What do you feel at those scenes, and how can the senses, the 5 senses, supplement it? Was there something in the air? Was there a smell? Was there a sound from the distance? What else is going on? And keep going. Add those in. Sometimes I add those after the scene because I'll read it and I'm like, oh, this is 3 pages straight of dialogue. There's got to be other stuff going on. Yeah, there is. Okay, let me add this in, and those elements don't detract from the dialogue. They supplement the scene, and they add words. They add words to your word count, but they help. Helpers, not distractors. Oh, I need to do something about smell, and you just throw in something. Is it there for a reason or not? Everything should supplement and add to the 3-dimensionality of that scene. But I catch myself, I will get into dialogue and I'll write 2 or 3 pages of nothing but dialogue. Yes, it's got the right dialogue tags, and yes, we know which character is speaking, but it's lacking everything else. It is 100% blinders on looking at these 2 characters talking. So that's where I have to go back and fix and add and flesh out the scene so the blinders are removed and you see the greater picture of everything that's going on. Writing quality, Write the story that the readers want to read. And they don't want to read pages of dialogue, even though there's some snippy, there's some good stuff, some good sarcasm, good humor, good counterpoints. It doesn't have the three-dimensionality that keeps the reader embroiled within it. So easy enough. I can fix that. Writing quality. Quality is key and momentum is best. You lose that momentum, now you're losing your train of thought. It's harder to get the words. You want good mechanics for sustained production, 30 words a minute. You want to write the right words. So you want to get it's right. You want to get hair and hair right, right and right. You want to create with inspiration. That inspiration is those tidbits. And inspiration follows the hard work of getting the words. So you write the words until you're inspired for which way this could go here, it could go there. Well, you're writing it, and then it becomes obvious which way you want to go. And then writing with passion, nothing can beat writing with passion. I love this story. I love these characters. You're already most of the way there in writing with passion because you love this and you need to get this scene down. Oh, I don't need to jump to the next scene, jump. Stop jumping. Take it step by step and make sure you get this scene. Master this scene. Don't rewrite it. Write it right. Get it right the first time. That's how you can write a better book quickly. Get it right the first. So what did you think about what was in that scene? Or are you just thinking about 3 scenes away and I kind of got to get to there? No. This scene, put yourself in this scene, capture it, document it, make it 3-dimensional, and then transition to the next scene. In summary, find the proper ergonomics to type well. I didn't talk about ergonomics with typing, but if you're sitting on a wood chair in a hotel room, and I don't know why they do wood chairs because they don't want you there. They want you to go out and spend more money. But the wood chairs, that hurts my back, and so I'm better off sitting on the couch with the computer in my lap, but then I don't get my second screen. Ergonomics. I like a good chair, good 2 screens. I've got a 32-inch curved screen here. I've got my notebook computer here that drives the whole mess. Yes, the proper ergonomics to get my 30 words a minute with no stress on my body. You can't see my chair. My armrests are right even with the top of my table, so I can rest my elbows. There's no strain on my arm. I don't have a carpal tunnel, anything, because my elbows are a little different, so my hands lay perfectly flat without any strain on my body. Okay, ergonomics for me is perfect. Clarity, I think through what I want to write, and then I write it. I put myself into the scene. I add the 3-dimensional elements to the scene while I'm writing it because I'm in there. And as a director, I'm pointing the camera at different things as they're happening, but always keeping in mind the characters push the plot forward. So the characters I'm always focused on what are the characters doing in order to move that plot forward. And then I finish that scene, do the transition, the little knot in between the pearls, and then get into that next scene. Sometimes I'll make a note to myself, here's the next scene, so I can better work the So that's all I have to say about this. Quality makes for the best final first draft. And you get that. I type the end and I send it to my editor. I might reread the last couple pages, but usually I have that flowed out good enough and shoot it to my editor within an hour after I finish that last chapter and type the end, because that's what I want to, I've told my story. And I'm not going to go back. I'll think about it. I don't send it right away because I want to think, okay, did I forget something? I'll remember right away. And if not, okay, good enough. Send it to the editor. And then she'll give me any continuity issues like, oh, hey, you had Bob here, but he's Bill over here. You have, and then the commas, of course, I get the commas mostly right with what my editor is looking for. A different editor would do commas differently. So don't get wrapped around the axle on commas. And but generally the words are correct. It's a right there, they're right. The right words are in place. It's mostly correct when, so yes, sometimes it could be a little clunky. Sometimes it takes a reader out of the story, but my editor just highlights, not sure what this does, leave it there. I'll take a look. Okay, that could be worded better, or it could not even need to be there. And then I goes to my insider team for their final review. I try not to give them copies of unedited stuff just because they do so much better job if I give them, hey, here's the final edited copy. And they still find typos. They might find 30 or 40. But by the time I put it out to the readers, there's almost none. There's always some that escape, but almost none. Readers can focus on the story and not, oh my God, there's a typo on every page. No, I don't do that to them. So there we go. Let's see, we got a question. Boris. First novels have a lot of head hopping. Do I go back and revise that? It depends. It all depends on, do you lose the reader with the head hopping? I head hop, and I had one co-author who's like, oh, geez, we got to stop the head hopping here. So, okay, so throw in some scene breaks instead of chapter breaks when I need to look at something from somebody else's perspective. But generally, I head hop, but it's very clear which character is speaking, thinking, or seeing that part of the scene. So, yes, if it detracts from the reader experience. No, if it doesn't. There's the very complex answer of do you go back and fix it or not? My first books, I wasn't as aware of what head hopping was as I am now. And so I do better now, but I did not go back and change anything from my first books of where I did head hop a little more than I should have. There we go. Any other questions? Q&A. It's Q&A time. 36 minutes. I didn't think I'd go that long because I wasn't very energetic with my thoughts, having just come in from outside with Stanley. And it did take a little NyQuil, so a little doped up. Hopefully this came through in a way that it makes sense to you, write quicker and better, to help you write quicker and better. Are you trying to increase your typing speed without increasing your thinking first? So instead of going from 30 words a minute to 60 words a minute, 30 words a minute is just fine. Do this for a minute before a 5-minute sprint, and you're going to find that those 4 minutes are going to be some high quality words, and not be so stressful trying to type so fast that maybe you can sprint for 10 minutes and not 5, and you get 9 minutes of quality words. 30 words a minute, 9 times 3 is what? 270 words in a 10-minute sprint. Because you spent a minute thinking, you didn't type faster than what you were capable of typing, so you don't have a lot of miscues in the words, and you'll find that maybe that's a better story. So slow to go fast. Wyatt Earp said that. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. I'll leave you with that thought. Peace, fellow humans.